It was in a forest a bit like this in Australia, a mixed forest with abundant species and birds and fungus, that Bill Mollison lived for 2 years and thought, why can't we have an agriculture as strong as this forest? An agriculture which doesn't need chemical inputs, yet a forest in which everything is a food or useful product. So when he came out of the forest, he and David Holmgren worked on what we know today as permaculture. So permaculture isn't just organic gardening as many people think. It's a complete design and systematic application of principles across land that give high yields without destroying the land. It always puts back more than it takes, which is the opposite to industrial agriculture. Small scale, large scale, a balcony garden in the city, a huge farm of many thousands of hectares equally can be permacultured. What we're looking at here is one of the world's problems in small state. We're looking at erosion, which is muddying the waters and carrying all the soil away and breaking roads, and it's going to get worse with global warming. Mollison and Holmgren looked at world problems like these in 1975, and today they're worse. All that permaculture is about is solving the problems. Solve these issues. So the idea is that you are able to have good techniques on a local level to solve problems, because the solutions are particular to each area, but we have principles. And if we were looking at water, we'd say slow it down and spread it. Then we don't have this sort of problem. So by looking at global problems, they came down to the local, the cultural, the special, and they developed solutions for them. The most extraordinary thing that Holmgren and Mollison did was to produce some ethics in a time when only doctors had ethics. The first ethic is to care for the earth, which cares for us. Second is to care for people. And the third ethic is to distribute surplus to our needs. And this has made a huge difference to permaculture in applying these principles all the way to social life and to the land. What we're seeing here is one of nature's wonderful examples of cooperation. And one of the principles of permaculture taken from nature is cooperation. There's actually very little competition in nature. And we're seeing something else here apart from the cooperation. This swarm of bees here in spring has left the hive, and they've adapted to the lack of resources in that hive to move and find a new place where there are resources. So in permaculture we're talking all the time about cooperation and adaptation to the amount of resources we've got. And the bees are telling us that this is the way to do it. Permaculture is about applied science. It really is. Just looking at this simple machine for washing clothes, we've just got a pulley system and a belt to work the machinery. At all times we choose low energy, low renewable resources for ourselves. It's the sort of science that everyone knows, the science of light, the science of warmth, the science of small machines and pulleys and fulcrums. It's what we know ourselves, but we actually formalise it to make our lives easier. And what could be easier than washing clothes like this on a sunny morning? The real topic of permaculture is design. And because design sounds a bit abstract, I thought we'd look at it here. We work from principles. A major principle is that one thing should serve several functions. It should be able to be used in many ways. So if we look at this structure here, this is a glass house put onto the front of a stone building. It pumps hot air into the house. It's such that the hot air can also be pumped upstairs. But down here we're growing papaya, we're growing fruits, we're growing vegetables, we're growing fruits from like this gooseberry, and things that would be impossible otherwise. By using good design here and putting things in relation to each other, they have achieved much better growth than they could in this mountain region growing outside. So using again applied science, we've got the glass provides warmth, warmth provides moisture, moisture provides low evaporation, water is used, the plants are way outside their normal climate zone, and the family can eat all year. It's a wonderful example of how you just put things together in such a way to get high production, preferably from small spaces. Otherwise, permaculture also designs systems for human communities. There are systems for finance, there are systems for markets, systems of communication, and always we come back to that basic principle to cooperate. So we're putting together as many things as we can to make life easier for every person and make it a quality life. So observation is the chief skill anyone needs to do permaculture. And although I'm looking at this wood, I'm asking myself who lives here and who lives here. In general, good observation tells you where to put your house, how to orient it, where to put your garden, where to put your water tanks. Working all the time from permaculture principles, we're constantly observing and refining. It's actually like having on 10 pairs of glasses and taking them off one at a time, and each time seeing more clearly what there is in your environment, both socially and for the earth, for nature. So we look and then we look again, and each time we see it differently, as I do here. Behind the idea of design in permaculture is always the pattern we see. I'm looking at the pattern here of this flower, a very common flower in most countries. And the pattern I see is a circle and a spiral, and the circle has function. And the function of this circle is to collect sun and to bring in the pollinators. So every single part of nature functions within some sort of pattern. And the pattern of this seed head here is it is wind dispersed. Not water, not birds, not insects, not humans, but wind. So we're looking all the time at the pattern and how it functions. And then we try to use functioning patterns in our design. So we observe very, very carefully and then put a pattern on the land which is protective and replenishes all natural resources. So pattern is our main subject for design. And this is what we're observing. Permaculture now is worldwide. It's been established for 35 years or more. There are superb examples in Germany, United States, Canada, Australia, United Kingdom. Fabulous models of permaculture, and you can tell when you look at them whether they're designed permaculturally or not. You can see good water management, high production. We have enough evidence now to say in a drought permaculture will work better than anything else you can do, really, to drought-proof your land or to flood-proof it. It works in both ways, or fire-proof it. So all the threats to us today can be solved through very good permaculture design. Most of the threats today can be solved through good permaculture design. I am passionate about permaculture because it's the only thing I know that will help us repair the earth and restore it to good health. I've looked at many other systems and nothing is as good as permaculture, even if it's not perfect, and everyone can do it.